Welcome to Detailed English News Read and Explained. Here we don't just read the news, we explain it clearly so you can learn English while staying updated. Today's article is titled SC Mulls Compensation for Wrongful Conviction. Here SC refers to Supreme Court, which is the highest court in India. Mulls means to consider carefully or think about something deeply before making a decision. Compensation refers to something, usually money, given to person as a way of making up for harm or loss they have suffered. Wrongful conviction refers to a situation where a person is found guilty of a crime they didn't commit. In simple terms, the title talks about the Supreme Court thinking carefully about whether people who are wrongfully convicted, found guilty of a crime they didn't commit, should receive compensation, a form of repayment for their suffering. Court seeks help of AG and SG for framing guidelines. Framing guidelines means creating a set of clear rules or instructions that will help people or authorities handle a specific issue in fair, consistent, and systematic way. Time and again cases surface where the accused are made scapegoats by the system and false evidence planted against them. These victims end up rotting in jail for years even if they eventually get acquitted. Now Supreme Court has decided to examine the complex matter of compensating a person for wrongful arrest, prosecution and conviction. So let's review the highlighted words here. Accused, a person who is charged with committing a crime. In this case, it refers to someone who has been accused but may be innocent. Scapegoats, an innocent person who is unfairly blamed or punished for someone else's mistake. Here it means that sometimes innocent people, the accused, are blamed or punished by the system for crimes they didn't commit. Evidence, information, or objects used in court to prove whether someone is guilty or innocent. False evidence refers to information that is intentionally untrue or misleading. Victims, people who suffer harm or are harmed in some way, especially those who have been unfairly treated or wronged. Rotting in this context, it means being stuck in a bad or unpleasant situation for a long time without a chance to escape or improve. Eventually, this means in the end or after a long time, indicating that something happens after a period of waiting or struggle. Acquitted, when someone is declared not guilty of a crime they were charged with. Compensating, here compensating means giving money or support to a person who was wrongly arrested or convicted. Prosecution, the process of bringing someone to court to face charges for a crime. It is a legal effort to prove that someone committed the crime. Conviction, a legal judgment in which someone is found guilty of a crime in a court of law. So, in simple, this explains that there are many cases where people are wrongfully accused of crime they didn't commit. These innocent people who are called accused are unfairly blamed and sometimes spend years in jail due to false evidence. They are victims of a flawed system. Even if they are later found innocent and acquitted, declared not guilty, they suffer from spending time in prison. The Supreme Court is considering whether such people should be given compensation, money, or another form of repayment for the harm caused by their wrongful arrest, prosecution, and conviction. So, a bench of Justice Bikram Nath and Sandeep Mehta Monday sought assistance from the Attorney General and Solicitor General to adjudicate the issue, which will have major implications given that the conviction rate in the country is just around 54%. Here, sought assistance means looked for or asked for help or support. So, they asked for help or advice. Attorney General is the top legal advisor and lawyer for the government. This person represents the government in court and provides legal advisor on important matters. Solicitor General, a senior government lawyer who represents the government in court. Adjudicate, to make an official decision about something, often in a legal case. Implications, the possible effects or consequences of something. Conviction rate, the percentage of people who are found guilty of a crime in a legal system. So, in summary, two judges from the Supreme Court, Justice Bikram Nath and Sandeep Mehta, have asked for help from senior lawyers the Attorney General and Solicitor General to decide the issue. They believe this case is important because it could have major implications or significant consequences. This is especially true because the conviction rate, the percentage of people who are found guilty in India, is only around 54%. This means that nearly half of the people who are accused might not be guilty and many could be wrongfully convicted. Appearing for one such accused, senior advocate Gopal Subramaniam said people who have to spend years in jail over false charges must be compensated after being acquitted, as the incarceration amounts to violation of fundamental rights. He pleaded with the court to frame guidelines on the issue. The court was hearing the plea of a poor person who had to spend 12 years in jail, out of which 6 were under the shadow of death after he was awarded capital punishment for the rape and murder of a minor. Here, incarceration means being put in jail or prison. Violation means breaking or not respecting laws or rights. Pleaded means that the lawyer strongly and respectfully requested the court to create proper rules, guidelines. Plea, a formal request made to a court. Under the shadow, this phrase refers to living in constant fear or threat of something bad happening. In this case, the person lived with the constant threat of being executed. Capital punishment means the death penalty, where someone is sentenced to death as punishment for a crime. So, in summary, a senior lawyer named Gopal Subramaniam is representing a person who was wrongly accused and spent years in jail due to false charges. He argues that such people should be given compensation after they are found innocent because being wrongfully imprisoned is a violation of their fundamental rights. He also asked the court to create clear rules or guidelines for how to handle such cases. The court is hearing the case of a poor man who spent 12 years in jail living with the constant fear of being executed for a crime he didn't commit, the rape and murder of a child. So if we talk about overall summary of this article, it brings attention to an important issue. Should people who are wrongfully convicted and spend years in jail due to false charges be compensated? The involvement of the Supreme Court shows how seriously they are addressing the fairness of the legal system and how they are considering people's fundamental rights. The discussion also highlights the need for clear guidelines on this issue to protect innocent people from being unjustly punished. If you found this explanation helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more detailed English news breakdown. See you again next time, where we continue to explain news in a way that helps you improve your English.